What is up, obscure mic people? I'm back in epic fashion with a lot of cobalt blue in the studio today. And what I mean by that is, Donna sent over the PC-02. Let's see if we can get that shiny. Look at that metallic PC-02 thing there. Shine bright like a diamond, shine bright like a diamond. I'm sorry, guys. Even the Donner logo here. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Look at that shine. Look at the shininess of the Donna PC-02 integrated podcast Workstation. Yeah, that's right. So this thing comes with a power pack and a USB cable. And, it also wants you to create the moment. Create the moment. And check out all these controls and stuff. Good stuff. Donner sent over a coupon code for $100 off for obscure mic viewers. So, if you do come to the conclusion that you want this unit, which I'll show you in a moment, you can get it for $100 off. But the PC-02 is $5.99, but not really. It's $5.99, and it always has a $100 coupon off so far that I've seen that makes it $4.99. This is how Amazon works. Amazon works, by not really ever wanting to charge you the full price on certain products from certain companies. Like, as much as I love Five Finds gear, there's always a coupon. Mayono gear, always a coupon. Donner gear, almost always a coupon. Makes you feel like you're getting a deal. So let's just call this what it is. It's $4.99. And if you want to get it with the link in the description with a $100 off coupon, you'll pay $3.99. Now, I was pretty excited about this thing because it looks like a Rodecaster Pro-esque kind of machine. But I saw the price and I was like, it better be damn good for the price. It better be phenomenal for the price. Like, it's got to hit on everything. It's got to be almost perfect for a device from Donner to compete with Rode, or even Tascam, or even Zoom, or Mackie with the new DLZ Creator, or Boss with that big metal thing they made that looks like a Rodecaster Pro. This thing has to hit on all cylinders. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, unless the price was like $199 or maybe even $299. Probably, we'll get there. Let's take a look at the machine real quick, and we'll kind of go from there. It's going to be lengthy, but not as lengthy as you think. That's what she said. It's going to be an interesting video, to say the least. Let's take a look at the machine. All right, so this is the machine, the Donner PC-02, and I'm using a dynamic microphone on input number 1. Now, this is where things just start to get kind of tricky. Input number 1, I say, right? Okay, here's the inputs. We got input 1 and 2. See how they're separated with a line here? That's because input 1 and 2 are dynamic microphone combo jack inputs. 3 and 4 are dynamic combo or condenser combo jack inputs, which is interesting because I just realized that the combo jack part means you can you should be able to plug a dynamic microphone in with a XLR to 1/4 inch. So you can have 4 dynamics, but you got to use 1/4 inch on 2 of them, or run phantom power to your dynamic mics. Maybe you use a mic booster, maybe you don't, I don't know. But 2 condenser, 2 dynamic, no way to turn phantom power off, no way to turn phantom power on. Interesting, huh? Interesting. The video's a little blurry because of my overhead cam, working on that. But we've got a line in and a line out right here, 3.5. Oh my God. Okay. So, and then you've got, you know what? I don't even care about the blurry video. Let me tell you what's been going on here for a second. I got to get this thing laid down. 2 TRS outs, 4 1/4 inch headphone jacks. We've got a USB-C connection, optical line out, SD card, and it came with one. That's nice. And the power pack and a power button. Okay? Got to get this laid down. I'm quite aggravated right now because the whole time I was trying to show you that stuff, either the XLR would come loose or the headphone jack would come loose. That's a pain. The XLR doesn't snap in. It's just in. There's no connection that clicks it in. Nothing like that. Very, very frustrating. The I/O on the back, seemingly fine. But that took me 10 minutes just to film showing you the back of this device. It took me 10 minutes. That is just unfortunate. Let's go through some of this stuff. Not that you care, not that it matters at this point, because it's not going well. It's just not going well. But the build quality of this thing, it is nice. It is it's plastic, but it's good. It feels good. It's nice. It's solid. No complaints there. The big selling point here is when you turn it on, all these faders do this little thing, and it's all good and fun. Let's see if I can I'll just do it. Ooh, fancy. Did you see that? That's the selling point. That's why it's $500. But if I wanted to mute myself, I could mute myself here. And it drops your fader all the way down automatically. So it's mechanical. That's kind of cool. There's things that are kind of cool about it. The faders are decent. They don't have a whole lot of wiggle and wobble, and they feel good to slide up and down. That's also what she might have said, And I just have them all up because that's just where it was when I got it, and I got the gain adjusted for that matter. You got headphone volume controls right here, 1 through 4. I've got one turned up because I was using one, but I couldn't get the connection. I had to keep jamming it in there to get the connection, so I just switched to headphone jack 2. Again, this is not going well. We've got sound pads over here. I'm going to try to remember everything because now I'm highly frustrated. But we got sound pads like, fuck this thing. Yeah, whatever. And it's the same stuff that came on the other pod card. And where's that good scream? Oh, yeah. Fantastic. Okay. So we have those. We got a Bluetooth button. You can connect the phone, Bluetooth, all that good jazz. You have multiple banks here for the sound pads. Bank 1, Bank 2, Bank 3. An effect button, which is 4. We'll get into it in a minute. We've got a sampler button, which you can go through and change all the sounds and stuff. The pads, so you can sample those. I think you can drag and drop with the Donner software. It works half the time it doesn't. I'm not demoing it. It's that simple. We've got record to the SD card. Here's an important thing about record. So up here, you're going to see Project 1. Project 1 right here. So if you record multiple times, say you record once and then you go to record again, if you leave it on Project 1, it's going to record over what you had. So you're going to have to use this value button, which is going to come into play a lot. And go to Project 1, click it, and change it to Project 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, on down the line. All the way up to 50. So that's fun, isn't it? We're on Project 1. So if you record on Project 1, if you don't want to record over it, you better go to Project 2 the next time, or get your stuff off of the SD card and then go from there, because you have to select your project. And again, it's like a VCR tape. You're going to overdub it. You're going to ruin it. Good times. Great times, Donner. All right. So here's the thing about this. It's not a touch screen, and it's about the size of, let's see, what can we compare this to? I've got a cell phone. Okay. I'm going to lay it sideways, the top of a cell phone. So it is smaller than the top of a cell phone. And there's for comparison. This is a Samsung S20 FE, about a 6.5-inch phone. Basically, what I'm trying to say is the screen is small. Now, it's nice looking. It's vibrant. It's got some nice deep blacks. The readouts are good. I really don't have an issue with the screen as an information device, but it not being touchscreen and it being $500, different story, you know. Then we've got all of our controls up here. These are not touch controls. These are just indicators. So if I was to turn compression on, that would light up blue. I'll show you that in a minute. Also, we've got a main dial here, main and value. Main, I believe, controls the main outs on the back, the TRS outs. Okay, so these bank buttons are for presets for the faders. So if I hit bank 2, it's going to do some stuff. Bank 3 is the same, but you can change your outputs and save them in the banks and do all that. So if you got somebody talks louder than the other, so on and so forth. Yeah. Then, I don't know if I already went over it. I'm flustered, but bank 1, bank 2, bank 3 for the sound pads. Okay. Solo. You can mute all the mics and just have like what's coming through Bluetooth or ran in from a phone or whatever. You can hit solo, mute all the mics, but keep all the other sounds. You can also do solo on this. You can cut all your people out and bring them back, and so on and so forth. Automatic, motorized, kind of cool. Nothing overly new, but it's kind of cool. So that's your general functionality of the top of the device. Let's kind of firstly talk about my initial impression. I even have different headphones on, for God's sakes. Let's talk. These things. Let's talk about initial impressions, because when I plugged this thing in and I booted it up and I plugged my headphones in, I plugged the mic into it, I heard the vibraty, reverby, non-latency free mic sound that's in all those cheap interfaces. Instantly pissed me off, because I had high hopes that this would at least like kind of maybe be worth the money. But as soon as I heard those headphone outs, I was like, there's some cheap shit in this mixer, podcast station, whatever you want to call it. That was my initial impression. So as a YouTube mic reviewer guy, audio enthusiast person, I can't use this to do mic reviews because I don't know what the mic sounds like. I've got my favorite mic of all time plugged up. Not even going to tell you what it is. You should know. If you don't, watch all the videos. Watch all of them until you find it. But I was just so frustrated. Now, again, the air conditioner's on. It's too hot to turn it off. I will turn it off right now just so you can like see what the preamp noise is or is not. I'm going to turn this off for a minute. Summertime in this shack is unfortunate because it does get warm, and I've got a window unit in the studio, and it's loud. It is what it is. But this is what the preamp sounds like running a mic that does need some gain. And for the sake of knowing, I can't remember exactly, but I think I've got this thing. Let's see, the gain. I've got the gain. Why does it change when I do that? Like it changes when the tone of the mic changes when I just go view the gain. Let's get eyes on the gain real quick. Let's do that. All right, this is the mic 1 information. So we've got the little green bar that's telling me where I want to be hitting. I'm hitting just a little below that and then kind of going into it. The gain itself is on a 94. Let me go ahead. You do need to pump some gain into it. You have to turn the value thing. See how I'm on done up here, and then I go down. I can pan left and right. I can go to the gain. So the gain's not all the way up. We've got some room. You don't know it until you get the white bar around it. But we're on a 94 out of 130. That's the preamp. All right, so we're on a 94. It's giving me the levels I want at a 94. So the preamps are fine, actually. Surprisingly, the preamps are fine. Let's go back to done. You got to push click everything you want to happen here and then turn the dial. It's not a smooth system by any means. It's just not smooth at all. Look, indicators, dynamic, condenser. Hooray. That's just special. It's just special. All right. Now we're going to go into the effects. This is where the machine could have potentially redeemed itself, but it can't really because there's just too much wrong with it. But my God, the implementation here, I don't know if you guys remember the Comica AD5 interface. That thing was half amazing and half terrible. That's what I feel this machine is. It's half amazing and half terrible. So, effect button takes us into the effects for everything. We've got reverb, and you got to use the turny value button. You got reverb, you got delay, you've got your send options here, send in one, adjust your volumes, even though you can do that on the other stuff. Yeah. You've got your auto tune and pitch and megaphone and robot talk. I don't know why. I mean, it's whatever. It's got to still carry some of those sound card qualities. But we're going to ignore these four because let's be honest, we don't give a shit about them. We just don't. We're going to go to input 1. And right now we're on no effect. Not the band, not Fat Mike, but just no effect. And when you hit the down, we can do a soft guitar effect, guitar solo, electric guitar. So you can add effects to your instruments, and that's awesome out of this machine. That's really cool. We've got a P08 setting. Let's hit the button on that. So we hit the P08 setting, and the EQ and the compressor light came on. So we don't know exactly what it's doing, but the P08 changed things. Now we can go into noise gate and we can see that it's turned off. We can turn that on and it's going to cut in and out. And honestly, the default setting on the noise gate, not terrible. But the great thing is we can adjust that. We can adjust the noise gate. Here's where the amazingness kind of happens. Let's turn it off. We can, even on the P08 setting, we can go into the compressor, which is turned on. See the white light? See the white thingy? And look at this. The compressor that's used on the P08 setting is the LA2A, which is an emulation of a fantastic compressor. We can click that compressor. It's going to be hard to get on this camera, but we got the LA2A. We've got, let's see here. I'm going to mess everything up. We've got a 670, an 1176. Sorry about the thing. It's just not clear enough. But we've got an SSL compressor. So that's all of them. SSL, 1176, 670, LA3A, LA2A. Come on, man. This part is really cool. SSL. For some reason, the 1176 just cut me right off. The output's the output's super low on that 1176. And it's noisy. Anyways, I don't know why there's all these extras on that, but you click on the LA2A. Maybe it's just the Donner P08 compression setting, because we've got, no, that's just what it is. It's a weird machine, man. We've got a de-esser, and of course you can go through and adjust that stuff. You can go into the equalizer and adjust it by 200 hertz, 800, 2000, 8000. So you got a 4-band EQ here that you can even use. Again, this stuff is really useful for some people. P08, we can drop down to just a dynamic, and that adds de-essing, compression, EQ. Don't know why the P08 doesn't have that, but Donner Hush. We got the Donner Hush on. And then we've got presets. You can set your own things and save it as a preset. How awesome is that? Let's go no effect. Back to no effect. But this thing it has some great things about it that just simply don't matter, Before I forget, there's a system button. And that takes you to the brightness where you can adjust the brightness. You can adjust the LED color. I can take these blue faders and I can make them yellow. You can't really tell on this washed out crap here. He's back into the system settings. Here's where you set the Bluetooth. You can adjust your card. You can wipe your card clean, format it. Tells you how much you got left. We've got quick setup, which you can input quick setup. I've got that off because I, wanted to fine tune. Got some line out controls, volume, that stuff. And then we've got info and we've got firmware v.1.2. So the firmware can be updated. I've not seen an update for it yet, but I don't know, man. I just again, I got excited about this thing. I was like, man, SD card, all this stuff. It does all this stuff. And it just doesn't matter because you should not buy this. Just don't. There's a couple reviews out there that talk about how great this thing is. And I'm like, well, it does sound good. It's going to sound good to you. It's going to sound good to you. There's nothing wrong with the preamps, really. They're good preamps. There's nothing wrong with the processing. The processing is pretty solid. Sound pads work well. They got a nice flushy tactileness to them that just bounces back. It's easy. You don't have to smash them. You can just touch them. The faders are good. The knobs, everything on this mechanically on the front panel is pretty good. But the headphone amp kills it. The value button that you have to twist, turn, push just kills it. It's noisy too. Don't change it while you're recording. It'll come right into the recording. I had a problem with the XLR port. I had a problem with the headphone out. I had a problem with one of the compressors. It was negative 30 dB on the compressor by default. There's some things that are just unforgivable for this. The headphone amp being a huge one, the 2 dynamic pre's and 2 condenser pre's. Why? Who's going to pay $500 or even $400 for a machine that does that? Who does that? What machine does that? Why did they do this? Why? There's just too many problems. Unless you're going to run a 4-person podcast and I guess have a couple preamps plugged in for dynamic mics, or let's face it, Phantom Power doesn't just kill dynamic mics. It's more for ribbons. You can plug most dynamics up to Phantom Power and it won't do anything, but sometimes it will. So that's the problem there. But why? Just why? There's just too many cons to buying this machine, and there's too many things that could go wrong. I just don't understand it. I don't understand the thinking here. I feel like it was a cash grab. I'm glad they sent $100 off coupon. If somebody sees this thing and just thinks the electric, the motorized faders are just too cool for school and you got to have them. Whatever, do it. You do. This machine's frustrating, man. I was excited. Donner has been fairly cool about stuff, but at the same time, trying to push me to get out this review, even though I told them my problems with it. And they were good about the feedback. I'll give them that. They were really cool about the feedback. We'll look into that on the next iteration. Hopefully there is a next iteration. They do it right and it's cheaper and it's got a touch screen. They can do it. I've seen them do things. This here is just it's a cross between a Soundgarden. It's a cross between Soundgarden and Nirvana. That would be a cool reference if Soundgarden sucked, but they don't. They're good. It's a cross between a sound card and a Rodecaster. And it just doesn't work. So, sorry, Donner. I told you before I ever released a video, and you still were like, coupon code is good for a week. I'm not going to have this out in a week. Oh, okay, it's good for 10 days. I'm not going to have it out in 10 days. It's good for 2 weeks. Maybe. 2 weeks came and gone. They extended the deadline for the coupon code, so on and so forth. Thanks, Donner. You guys do make some cool mics and some good stuff and, good budget gear, but there's nothing budget about $500 here. Not for a machine that, in my opinion, at max is worth $199 at max. And that's if you don't give a crap about the headphone amps being non-latency free and you can live with some of the other shortcomings of the machine. $199, maybe $249. If there's something about this machine that just tickles your fancy, like maybe the guitar effects. I didn't even test them. Maybe I'll do that in a short. I don't know. Too frustrated right now. But I knew I'd be angry about this machine review, but I didn't know I'd have problems while reviewing it that like cut my headphones out and then cut my mic out and like the connection's just not secure enough. Is very frustrating. Very frustrating machine. Donner did send it to me. You know, I told them ahead of time. I'm not going to say good things about it if there's nothing good to say about it. There are a few good things to say about it that I already said. And those things are cool, but it's just like negated by the bad. It's completely canceled out. I don't know. If you think there's a reason to buy this, I want to hear your comment down below, or read, not really here. But tell me why you think this machine is awesome. Like, it's got potential. Shamika said I got potential. But Shamika's wrong about this one. It's just kind of, unless firmware updates can fix some of these things, it can't fix the phantom power on 2 inputs and not the other 2. It can't fix that. That's hardware. But it can fix maybe some of the other stuff. Maybe. Donner, are you gonna? I'm sure there were some things I overlooked from getting angry, but it doesn't matter because you shouldn't buy it. It's that simple. You shouldn't buy it. I wouldn't buy it unless it gets deeply discounted, which happens a lot with these kind of devices. If you see it for $100 or $150 and you know, there's going to be a point where the value is there for this machine, but not at $5, not at $4, not at $300. It's got to be $250 or less. And $250 is like, I don't know. There's a lot of cool devices for $250, a lot of cool devices for $200. PodTrack P4, pretty well built, working little machine for $150. This thing's got a lot of competition to be coming out of that price point, man. Donner, back to the drawing board. Bark, out of here. I need to kick some of this frustration to the curb. I'm going to have to do something I love next. It's just that simple. Happy Bark coming at you soon. Donner PC-02 podcast workstation is out of here. Bark's out of here. Secure mics. Peace out.